Well, I guess I gotta talk about this motherfucker right here. Fucking Antonio Brown. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with this fucking guy? First, he gets himself traded out of Pittsburgh. Now let's kind of start there. Pittsburgh basically gave this guy up for a busted washing machine and a 12 pack of fucking Schlitz. They gave this guy up for nothing, and he's supposed to be one of the best wide receivers in the league. Arguably the best if you're just looking at stats. I have a problem with that, because any GM that would give away one of the best wide receivers in the league for basically shit probably knows something that nobody else does. And the Raiders kind of deserved what they had to deal with Antonio Brown, because they should have fucking known better. I find it hard to believe that John Gruden, who's a pretty fucking smart football guy, looked at that and was like, hey, they want to give us this guy who's oh so damn good for bus fare. Maybe something's wrong here. But whatever. Maybe it was Mike Mayock making a stupid decision. Who the hell knows? But I have to imagine that Mike Mayock and the Raiders coach John Gruden sat down and were like, really? What else are we getting with this guy other than a football player? Are we getting a bunch of fucking baggage? Yeah, it's possible. But anyway, so he goes to the Raiders. He gets there, and one of the first things that happens is he has one of those cryogenic treatment things where you, for some damn reason, you put yourself in a really cold fucking tube and they chill you down to almost fucking freezing. Why that works on anything, I have no fucking clue. I think it's something that stupid rich people do just when they want to spend $10,000 on 15 minutes. And gets frostbite on his foot and misses a lot of off-season training activities. That's just plain stupid. This is from a guy who's made a couple of stupid decisions already up to this point. Then after all that is said and done, he gets into this fucking mess about his damn helmet. For those of you who don't, this was all pretty big news in and of itself, so you've probably heard the story before. He wants to wear a certain helmet that he's always worn for at least most of his career, a helmet he's comfortable with. He brought it with him from Pittsburgh, had it repainted with the Raiders logo and colors and all that, but the league said no, because we wear a certain kind of helmet to help protect from concussions, and you can only get this helmet from one of these. I think there's 2 or 3 distributors that actually sell and produce helmets for the NFL to use in games. He didn't like that, so he's throwing a fucking fit over the helmet and threatens to retire. At which point I would have looked at him and said, bye bitch, go fuck yourself. If you're really going to retire and give up millions and millions and millions of dollars over a fucking helmet, you're stupid. Look, as a guy who's played a lot of sports, there are little things that I like about my equipment. I don't like hitting without batting gloves on. They don't really make a huge difference in whether I hit the ball well or not. It's just a comfort level. There are certain gloves that I like. There are certain cleats that I like. I can play with other pieces of equipment, but there are ones that I like. I won't give up what I'm doing and completely change my lifestyle all because someone won't let me wear batting gloves or want me to wear Nike cleats instead of Reebok cleats. That's just plain stupid. But after all this, he proceeds to do everything he can on social media to shit on his teammates, his team, this is the Raiders by the way, to shit on his team and his teammates, even at one point saying on Instagram, I believe, that they should just release me and let me go. That guy's a fucking asshat. One of the things that kind of blows my mind about all this is, you remember back in the Tampa Bay days when John Gruden was there, he was the one that invented the term Keyshawning. When Keyshawn Johnson acted like an asshole, he told Keyshawn just to go the fuck home and not play football anywhere. I thought that was a great fucking move. Putting one of these star assholes in their place and not letting them run the team for you, I thought was a fantastic move. I'm really surprised he didn't do the same thing here with Antonio Brown, because that would have been the perfect time to look at him and say, hey, I've got you for the next, whatever his contract was, 5-6 years, I've got you for the next 5 or 6 years of your life. You're not going anywhere near a football field. You're not catching a football. You're not being water boy unless you're doing it in a Raiders uniform and doing it for me. Sit your ass down. Why he didn't do that is beyond me. Except, maybe they were realizing that this whole thing was a mistake anyway. The signing him was a big mistake. They shouldn't have got him. And they figured, you know what? We're going to not have to pay him a lot of the guaranteed money. We're not really going to pay him a lot of money for the basically week and a half that he played for us. Why don't we go ahead and cut bait? He didn't cost us anything in the trade. He cost us a couple of shitty draft picks that we probably weren't going to pick the next superstar with anyway. So why not go ahead and cut bait with him? Which has merit. I mean, there's an argument for that one too. Personally, I would have sat him down and said, if you're going to play football the rest of your life, at all for the rest of your life, you're going to do it with my logo on. But whatever, that's fine. They just wanted to cut bait with him, so they did. And literally 13 seconds later, he signs with New England. So immediately, the shit all starts that it was some conspiracy that he worked his way out of Oakland so that he could run and play for New England and have a better chance of getting a Super Bowl this year. Honestly, I hate New England. I'm just going to say it out loud. I'm one of many, many people out there that can't stand the Patriots. I'm really, really hoping that the first route that he runs in a Patriots uniform, he blows out his ACL and he's gone for the year. I just think that would be poetic justice at its finest. But this is where some of the questions about this particular instance with this sexual assault or sexual misconduct, whatever it's being called, comes in. So, on Tuesday night, the news broke that he had been hit with sexual assault allegations by someone named Brittany Taylor. And Brittany Taylor was a college friend of his from Central Michigan University in 2010. She went on to become a physical trainer, and he apparently reached out to her. Let me read some of this. Let's see. Oh, I lost my place. Brown and Taylor first met as students at Central Michigan in 2010. Taylor claims that after years of not being in touch, Brown sent a Facebook message to her in 2017 asking for help with physical training. Taylor believes that their relationship was that of a brother-sister type, but Brown persisted that the two get involved romantically according to the lawsuit. And I think that's a pretty important word. She already is just like, hey man, we were friends in college, fine. I'll be your trainer, but we need to keep our relationship kind of platonic. And he persisted, meaning that's just a really nice way of saying he forced himself on her in a romantic way. And that to me does not paint him in a good light as far as these sexual misconduct allegations are concerned. And then Taylor claims over the course of less than a year, Brown exposed himself to her, masturbated and ejaculated on her back. I'm so sorry for my Christian friends that might be watching this. I apologize so much. And sexually penetrated her in separate incidents. Taylor claims that all of the incidents were without her consent. Oh, goodness. From the lawsuit regarding the incident in which Brown allegedly raped Taylor in Miami in May of 2018, it is said that Miss Taylor was planning to immediately drive to her hotel room, but went into Brown's home to use the restroom and grab some food from the kitchen, while Miss Taylor was working towards the front door. Brown grabbed her arm, told her he wanted to talk to her, and pulled her into his bedroom. That doesn't sound good. I'm not saying that's what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know that's what happened, but that's what she's accusing him of in this particular instance. She goes on to say they chatted for a few minutes, and when Mrs. Taylor went to walk out of the room, Brown cornered her and pulled her down on the bed on her stomach, pushing her face down into the mattress. This is where sexual assault usually happens. Miss Taylor pleaded with him, shouting no and stop, but Brown refused and proceeded with great violence to penetrate her. It's a nice long-winded way of saying he raped her. That's what that means. Miss Taylor protested and cried the entire time. When Brown finally released her, Miss Taylor stood up in a state of trauma and shock, crying in front of him. Devastated and disoriented, she ran into his foyer, or foyer, depending on how you pronounce it, and collapsed on the ground. No one came to her rescue or to help her in any way. She was completely alone. Eventually, she summoned the strength to pick herself off the floor, make it to the door, get into her car, and drive. Dazed and emotionally shattered, to her hotel. She was so exhausted that she fell asleep at a stoplight on the drive back. Now, one of the most interesting things about this is the text message that went back and forth between the two of them. And I just happen to have that right here. Check this out. In oh so eloquent terms, and please forgive me again for reading this, I'm going to read this word for word. It's not worded very kindly nor with very good grammar, but here we go. And this is apparently what Antonio Brown sent to this girl, Brittany Taylor. I jack my dick on your back. I guess that exclamation point is supposed to be I slept with you in bed. Fuck your knowledge, bitch. I've been all pro before I even knew you. You hit me up online, bitch crying. I didn't hit you up. You never left my house since you had hotel. You fell asleep on my couch. Fuck out of here. My baby mama trick your dumbass. Blast me. You're a failure telling everybody you own a gym. What you gone blast, don't fucking write my phone, lean bitch, though it was easy to get a come up. Using God alias fake ass hoe, you and your mama thought y'all hoes had a come up. fuck out of here, don't write my team. And apparently in a separate message, he writes, thanks for giving us control of your life for 3 weeks. Next time you and your mama plotting on a come up, make sure you all hoes pick the right man, dumbass hoes. Maybe somebody you already fucked, your mama controlling your life like she gone help the come up. You failed at gymnast, you a nobody. Me and somebody whose name has been blocked from all this. I laugh about this shit, me busting on your back. I'll let him know when I'm bored. You a disgrace to little girls, you a failed gymnast, living in the past at your mama's house with your mama. Lucky I showed you around, you're welcome. My baby mama know a weak bitch when she spot one. You played yourself. Okay, that text message alone makes me think this guy needs to have his fucking head beat in. But all that notwithstanding, I think it's pretty clear here, and some people were bringing this up as he was starting all this shit with the Raiders before these allegations came out. This guy might be a little fucked in the head. Let's just say it plainly in the nicest terms I know how. He might be a little fucked in the head. I'm starting to wonder if this guy has a concussion history. I haven't looked it up. I may have to. But somebody go down in the comments and let me know. Did he suffer any concussions when he was playing either in college or with the Steelers? Because I'm starting to wonder if we have an opportunity here to look at guys like this and say, hey, can we look at your behavior and maybe see some early evidence of CTE? Is there something we can see on a brain scan? I really think somebody needs to put this guy in a CAT scan machine and get him checked out. This is not normal behavior. Now, a lot of you will say that people get rich as athletes or whatever and they start to act eccentric and stupid. And you're not wrong. Some people, the money goes to their fucking head and they start acting weird. But we're talking about a guy who has thrown away a lot of money by digging over the Raiders. I think somebody had actually said that between the fines, I think someone actually said that between the fines and what he actually got in paychecks from the Raiders, that it actually cost him $300,000 to play for Oakland, which I find absolutely fucking hilarious. He actually paid money to wear an Oakland jersey to practice like 5 times. $300,000. Not a little bit of money, $300,000. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's actually true or not. Somebody go down in the comments and let me know if that's even a little bit true. But this raises all kinds of other questions. And some of the questions is who knew what before that deal was signed? Now, SportsIllustrated.com has an article where they talk a little bit about whether people with the Patriots, or even with the Raiders for that matter, knew anything about it. According to the SI article, there are less important football-related questions too. Yes, will Brown play this week? Who the fuck knows? Will Commissioner Roger Goodell place him on the commissioner's exempt list? Look, I have thoughts about this. This is a civil suit, not a criminal suit. This is a criminal suit, not a civil suit. So let's not jump the gun as far as putting him on the exempt list or suspending him. Because I said this when Kavanaugh was going through all his bullshit, getting on the Supreme Court. You have to let the information come out before you can jump to any conclusions. You have to get all the information, you have to bring it all in, and then assess all that. It would be wildly unfair to Antonio Brown to make any assumptions right now, because there just isn't much that is known publicly. Now, what the NFL might know behind closed doors, who knows? What people who are investigating this crime might know behind closed doors, who knows? That'll all be made public in due time. But for right now, I think the NFL and the Patriots should do nothing. I think if they want to let him play, let him practice, I think they should until they have reason to take action. That's the important part. We don't want to jump to conclusions and automatically make him guilty before he's even had a chance to plead his case. That's not a cool thing to do to anybody. But the question is, we are all left wondering what the Patriots knew, if anything, before signing Brown to that contract on Monday. Now, something that I find really interesting about the timing of the deal with the Patriots, and I'll go back to this, did he orchestrate his way out of Oakland because he wanted to go to New England? Okay, here's a small timeline of things. At 11:56 a.m. Saturday, the Raiders announced that they had released Brown. The transaction wouldn't have officially gone through until 4 p.m. that day, which would have made Brown a free agent to sign with any team as early as 4:01 p.m. Now, here's what Rosenhaus said in a interview. What did he say? I missed it. We had no idea whether the Patriots would be interested, Rosenhaus said. In fact, I didn't have any communication with the Patriots until well after he had officially been released at 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, he said, I did not have any communication with the Patriots until well after he had been officially released after 4 o'clock. So he gets released at 4 o'clock. He can sign with somebody at 4:01. Now, here's where the timeline gets a little squiffy. At 4:52, Bleacher Report breaks the news that Brown plans to sign with New England. So that means that somewhere from 4:01 p.m. to 4:52 p.m., a span of 51 minutes, Drew Rosenhaus put together a $15 million one-year deal with the New England Patriots for his wide receiver. He must be the best fucking agent ever. He put together a $15 million deal in less than an hour. It's actually less than that, because if you listen to what he says, well after 4 p.m. that he started talking to the Patriots. What is well after 4 p.m.? Is well after 4 p.m. 4:15? Is it well after 4 p.m. 4:30? Because if they announced officially, at least it was released on Bleacher Report at what time, whatever time it was. I'm missing it now. No, I've lost it in the article. 4:52. It was announced at 4:52 p.m. So somewhere between 4:51 and 4:52. Let's say it happens at 4:15. That gives you way less than 51 minutes. He put together a $15 million deal. Whatever. I don't buy for a minute that he wasn't trying to orchestrate his way to New England, or at least orchestrate his way out of Oakland. I think he may have gotten lucky with New England, but no, I'm pretty sure that he orchestrated his way out of New England. He's exactly the kind of narcissistic asshole that would want to do that. That would want to just bypass free agency, bypass a trade. I'm going to choose right now, a couple of days before week one, which team I want to go play for, and fuck this team that I just signed a $15 million contract with. I think that's exactly the kind of asshole he is. But anyway, so it gives the Patriots and Brown about 50 minutes to strike a deal. And based on Rosenhaus' admission Wednesday that Antonio and I have been unfortunately anticipating the possibility of a lawsuit and internet rumors of the allegations cropping up in the early Saturday morning hours, it can be safely assumed, but not confirmed, that the allegations contained in Taylor's complaint Tuesday night were known by Brown and his camp, at least in part, at the time of the signing. Meaning, and here's where I think that the Patriots can get out from under this if they really want to, meaning that he and his agent knew that there was probably going to be some kind of legal ramifications from this, either a civil or criminal suit, before they sat down with New England to sign the paperwork, and didn't tell them. That to me means that if the Patriots wanted to, they could go up there and say, hey, we signed this contract while you did not give us really important information that you had at the time. We think we can back out of this, take our money, and go away. That's something I think the Patriots should very much consider, and I think probably quietly they are. If you watch Belichick's press conference when they were questioning him about it earlier today, was it earlier today or yesterday? It was something in the last 12 or so hours. He, in typical Bill Belichick fashion, was very non-committal. But I don't think a lot of that was really the fact that he didn't have much to say. It was probably that he and the organization didn't want to say much because they really don't know how they're going to handle this yet. But in any respect, this whole thing is going to break open. We're going to get more information about this, whether he's guilty or innocent. The civil trial is going to play itself out. We're going to see whether not whether he's guilty or innocent, but whether he is financially culpable for something he apparently did to this girl. Guilt and innocence is going to have to be talked about in a criminal trial, and that may or may not be coming at some point in the near or semi-near future. So go down in the comments section, let me know what you think about all this, what you think of Antonio Brown, and I'll see you guys later.